Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I have an important, maybe a bit unusual announcement regarding the channel, hence the reason for this video. If you are on my Discord, or if you read my recent community post, you know already what this is about. Here's the headline. I've started developing a small 2D RPG game as an hobby project, and I'll be documenting my journey through devlog videos. Yeah, I can hear the crickets chirping. Anyway, let me give you a bit of context first. You might have seen a rather unique video I published recently. In it, I showcased a text-based RPG that I coded. More specifically, I found the original source code of a very old video game I used to play many years ago, and I adapted it using C# and Windows Forms. If you're curious, the link should be on the screen and also in the description. Now, the sheer excitement and sense of accomplishment I felt when I got it working exactly as intended was enough to spark a bigger idea. What if I tried to take it a step further and build an actual game? Something with graphics and all. Okay, let's manage expectations here, mine included. I'm just an hobbyist. I've learned to code by reading books, experimenting, and taking online courses, not through formal training or a dev job. That said, I've built a few small apps for myself over time, and I've learned my way around Unity reasonably well. So I can do things, but don't expect the next Skyrim, okay? I'd like to go now into a bit more detail about the gameplay you can expect, the visual style I'm aiming for, and how I think the community might be able to get involved. So, what will the structure of the game be? As a starting point, I'm thinking of a central hub, probably a tavern, where new missions are offered each week, and you can choose one to pursue. Early on, the missions will be very simple. Go there, defeat this, that kind of thing. But I'd love to add more variety, inspired by that old text RPG I mentioned earlier. Once you accept a mission, you'll transition into a travel phase, a section where you're on the road. During this phase, you might run into monsters, merchants, or other creatures, and what you do in each situation will depend on the context. Eventually, you'll reach the boss layer, where you'll have to fight, or maybe you can flee, facing the consequences. At the minimum, I'd like the travel and combat sections to include some randomness, which monsters you encounter, their abilities, and the events you come across on the road. Ideally, I'd love to add secrets and small bits of world building that reward exploration. For example, maybe you heard a tavern rumor about a hidden chest buried near a dead tree, somewhere on the hills along the road to the Three Fires volcano, that kind of stuff. I've got plenty of little ideas like that. Eventually, I'd even like to include scripted multi-step quests. But I'm also realistic. I'll start with the bare minimum and build out from there, step by step, if I can actually do it. Now, let's talk about graphics. First of all, don't expect anything in 3D. These will be strictly retro 2D sprites. And when I say retro, I mean really retro, like early 1990s style. Movement will be tile-based, so you'll move one square at a time, snapping from one cell to the next. Combat will be turn-based and take place like in JRPGs. And just to be clear, while I'm an amateur when it comes to programming, I'm even worse when it comes to graphics. Thankfully, I've already found a great set of basic sprites I can use. And here I want to give a huge thank you to Project Utopia for letting me use their tile sheets. You might be wondering, what's Utopia? It's an online MMORPG inspired by games like Ultima, Diablo, and AD&D, and it's been around since the early 2000s. It's honestly impressive. They've got over 100 quests, player housing, pets, PvP, crafting, and even a permadeath server, and it's completely free. If you're curious, definitely check them out. I've added a link both in the description and on the screen. So I reached out to them, and without hesitation, they agreed to let me use their assets. Truly amazing folks. Again, go check them out. I've already mentioned more than once that I'm just an amateur coder with no formal programming background or high-level experience. So it's perfectly natural if you're thinking, can you really build more than just a sprite moving around the screen? That's a fair question, and I want to be 100% transparent about my approach from the start. I'm using ChatGPT to help me structure the code and understand how to approach different problems in a clean and expandable way. Just to be clear, I'm not asking the AI to write the game for me. I use ChatGPT more like a mentor or a senior developer, someone I can bounce ideas off, ask questions, or request clarification from. ChatGPT sometimes suggests code snippets, but most of the time they're either pseudocode or written in a way that's a bit too advanced for my current skill level. I only adapt them if I understand what they're doing, and I always try to simplify things, not just blindly copy-pasting. The most valuable part of this process is that I'm actually learning the underlying concepts, and once I understand the logic behind them, I can solve new problems on my own without needing help every time. So I hope it's clear, I'm not using ChatGPT to fake being a programmer. I'm using it to learn, to push past my current limits, and hopefully create something that works. As I mentioned earlier, I'd really like to involve the community in this project as well. That could mean submitting ideas for features, giving feedback on the systems I've implemented, or even creating custom assets that I can integrate into the game. Essentially, I'm imagining something like modding support, at least for certain parts of the game. If I managed to build a solid questing system, for example, I could open the door to designing custom quests, and even the maps where they take place. Maybe even custom boss fights with their own scripted mechanics. Yeah, I know, I'm getting ahead of myself, but hey, dreaming is free, right? Anyway, you get the idea. Once I get the basics working, the possibilities really start to open up, and I'd love to explore them together with you. As you can probably tell, I'm really excited about this project, and I hope you'll enjoy following its progress through the upcoming devlog updates. I can't say yet whether they'll be monthly or more frequent, but I'll try to post them with some regularity. Also, let me know if you prefer the devlogs to be more high-level and overview focused, or if you'd like me to go into the nitty-gritty details of how certain features and systems are implemented. Either way, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and get closer to that fabled 1000 subs milestone. A special thank you to all my Coffee supporters, and if you want to support me as well, the link to my page is in the description. And until next time, take care and stay relaxed. Bye bye.